I guess I'm next. I should never have come here.
Hey everyone, Justin Crumley here with the Cujo Productions channel. Welcome to another edition of The Film Cave. Today we're going to be talking about Good Boy. This was directed by Ben Leonberg and stars Indy the dog as himself. A man and his dog move into his grandfather's house after he passes away. And the dog soon discovers that the house is crawling with supernatural entities that are posing a threat to his owner, and it's up to him to stop them. So the first thing I want to point out about this film is it is very short. It is barely over an hour long. It's like an hour and 13 minutes, and I believe that's with credits and special little feature at the end, which I'll get into at the latter half of this review. This film relies solely on its lead actor, Indy the dog, and he kills it. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was genuinely a pretty good movie about a dog trying to protect his owner from these supernatural entities, these spirits, ghosts, this haunted house, whatever you want to call it. I thought this was a really clever idea, and it might not be the scariest movie in the world. It isn't the most it isn't the most cringe inducing horror film. There's nothing really disturbing that happens in it. But as I said, it mostly relies on its lead, and the dog in this film absolutely nailed it. For not being a professional acting dog, I thought Indy the dog was great. This film isn't cheesy or childish at all like the Air Bud films or Cats and Dogs, that kind of stuff, which I'm not saying those movies are bad. I'm just saying they're kind of cheesy, a little childish. Then again, they were made for children, so that makes sense. This film kind of escapes all that. It never falls into the oh look, the star is a dog, isn't that adorable. You genuinely do care about the dog, and you want to see the person make it out of this horrible predicament that they're finding themselves in. This is Ben Leonberg's directorial debut. Indy was his actual dog, and I cannot give him enough props. I thought this film was really good. It's not the scariest thing ever, as I've already said. I've also said it's not the most disturbing film. It has a really interesting ending, which I'm not going to spoil. It's not an exaggeration to say that this film is carried by the dog, because that without that novelty, this movie would just be dull, boring, bland. Probably every boring haunted house movie you've ever seen. This film really does live on the back of Indy the dog, and I think he rose to the occasion. It's a very short film. It's not the scariest movie, but it's an enjoyable one. What they were able to do with a dog that, again, is not a professional acting dog, it's a pretty good film. I would check it out if you're a dog lover, a dog owner, or if you're a fan of the show Courage the Cowardly Dog, because I think this might be the closest thing that we ever get to a live action rendition of that show. There's a little special at the end that details the making of this film, which is where I've learned a lot of it. And I think it's one of those movies where the making of the film itself is probably more interesting than the movie itself. Now, I do say that as the highest compliment that I can give. I still think this is a really good movie. I think it's worth checking out when it hits streaming, and hey, if it ever hits the Blu-ray shelves, I'll be sure to add this one to my collection too. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be in theaters, if it's in theaters anymore, so I can't say go see it in theaters. But when it hits streaming services, when it hits the Blu ray shelves, if it hits the Blu ray shelves, definitely buy it. Check it out on streaming if you're curious enough. I do think it's worth it. It's only an hour and 13 minutes. It's a pretty solid film. A basic, straightforward story that never really loses itself, never loses any kind of pacing. It moves pretty well, and honestly, I find this film very hard to dislike or hate. It's only an hour and 13 minutes, and it's got a dog. So, yeah, I'm sure some people will want to know if the dog dies or not. Well, I'm not going to give that away, but I will put a pinned comment. If you don't care about spoilers, you can read the pinned comment. I'll give you the answer there. But as for the review, in case you don't want to be spoiled, I'm not going to say whether or not the dog dies. So, yeah, you have to watch the movie to figure it out. Anyway, guys, if you have seen Good Boy, be sure to let me know in the comment section what you thought of it down below. And as always, I'm Justin Crumley, and this is Cujo Productions saying, stay awesome.